On March 14, 2024, Fox 5 New York made a pretty interesting piece. It was called Migrants in America, but it wasn't just focused on all migrants. It specified a group of migrants, West Africans, and their relationship to their positioning or living in Harlem. Now, for those of you who understand Harlem and its history in Black America, it was once dominated by our people at a certain time. It was a renaissance filled with music and jazz and art. But things have changed in Harlem. It has been regentrified, if you will. And now certain parts of Harlem are being regentrified again, in particular a street called 116th Street. On 116th Street, there are a lot of Senegalese, right? And they may refer to it as Little Senegal or Little Africa. But not everybody is excited that these particular West African migrants are there. Now, once they get there from these African countries, they will tap in with people they know and the culture that can help them out. But this particular lady, Anita Elam, is not happy about it.
I don't go to 116. I used to go to 116. I avoid that area at all costs.
Like Anita Elam, who has lived in Harlem for decades.
It's overwhelming. It's scary, but it is what it is.
Why are you scared?
I don't know them. It's just a lot of them. They're just all over the place.
Now, Anita Elam says, listen, I don't even go over there. I don't even want to be bothered because it's a lot of them hanging out and I just don't feel safe, in so many words. Well, she caught a lot of slack for this in New York.
And I feel like also this comment was very much so anti-Black because you as African American would not like it if there was a certain demographic of people saying that they don't want to be around you because you and your people take up space in certain areas. You wouldn't like that at all. So I don't know why you're saying it about African people.
Now, this particular young brother is the son of two African immigrants that moved to New York. So he feels like, well, you know what? My parents came and they struggled, and it could have been like the people on the streets that you're facing, but they won't hurt you. And it's just, you're not looking out for the others. You're only worried about ourselves. All right. That was his position. And I'm pretty sure he didn't take any time to look at it from her position as a woman out by herself. But again, this is what happens. We typically see things from our own vantage point. But the question is, if all of these African immigrants are just hanging out on 116th, then who is supporting them? That's something that we all don't really know, but we can infer that it's possible that Americans' tax dollars are somehow feeding these migrants that are just hanging out on 116th Street. And how are they doing it?
SNAP is one of our nation's most powerful tools to end hunger. It stands for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, and it works by providing families with a monthly fund on a special debit-style card that they can use to buy groceries.
So now we officially know what SNAP is. I guess you can officially put food stamps and things like that underneath that program. And for what my research has showed me, the average American citizen spends $36 a year on SNAP. And this is a federal government funded program. All right. It's not funded by the state of New York. It is funded by the federal government. And so now, as we know, New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago, those particular cities are sanctuary cities, which means that if you're a migrant and you live in these hot spots for migrants, these cities don't have to work with the federal government when it comes to deporting some of these people. So let's say, for example, ICE. All right. You can kind of play ball, a hardball rather, with ICE and not give up information. But Donald Trump's administration is trying to get around that. You see, here's what they're doing. They're saying, listen, SNAP is a federally funded program. And you are in New York State. That's true enough. But it is our federal government funding the SNAP program. So here's what we want you to do. We want you, the state of New York, and anybody in that state that is receiving SNAP benefits, we want their name, we want their social security number, we want to know all of this particular information. And it doesn't matter, we'll take the American citizens too, but the reason why they're asking for it is because they want to find out if SNAP is giving benefits to undocumented or illegal people. All right. Now, if you're a documented migrant, I believe it's okay for you to get SNAP if you need it. Now, a lot of Americans are still unhappy with that because you're taking the money from American citizens and you're giving it to migrants. But let's say, for example, if you're undocumented and they find out that you're using a false social security number, well, then that's a real good reason to be deported. And it sounds like a pretty clever way to find out who's there illegal, right? Well, it would work better if you had an attorney who actually cared about the state of New York. Unfortunately, you don't. And the attorney that we have is no other than Letitia James. Now, Letitia James operates as the Attorney General for the state of New York, and she understood the ploy that Donald Trump's administration was trying to implement.
Thank you, Attorney General Bonta. The SNAP program is a critical lifeline for tens of millions of Americans throughout our country, and specifically 2.9 New Yorkers. Every day, SNAP benefits make it possible for working families to afford to put food on the table. And more than half of those who receive SNAP are families with children, and more than a third have elderly or disabled family members. Without SNAP, many families would not be able to count on their next meal. For decades, SNAP has prevented people from going hungry and saved countless lives. But now, this administration is attempting to use this program as a tool in their cruel and chaotic targeting of immigrants.
Now, she says, listen, she starts off pretty good about SNAP benefits and who they are, but then out of nowhere, she starts to defend the rights of immigrants. Now, let me just say this. I don't have a problem with immigrants, but what it seems in a lot of these sanctuary cities, immigrants are being prioritized over American citizens. Now, I'm an immigrant or a migrant where I'm at right now. I live in Uganda, but of course I pay taxes in Uganda, but still that would not qualify me to have anything more than a regular citizen. All right. My work permit had expired like a few days ago. I had to get it renewed, and my phone got cut off because basically, hey, you don't live here, got to make sure you pay, otherwise your phone don't work. So I don't get prioritized, and many other people who live around the world as American citizens, we have to pay, stay legit to stay in the countries that we're in. But when it comes to migrants in America, and if they happen to be illegal, that's not the case. But guys, it gets worse.
And this administration has demanded that states hand over sensitive personal information of all SNAP recipients going back to 2020. That includes addresses, social security numbers, immigration statuses, and more. This is not for research or to improve a service that millions count on. No, they are basically trying to weaponize the SNAP program against immigrant communities in violation of the law. And we collectively will not stand for it. That is the administration's plans, and they have made it abundantly clear. They even removed a notice on the USDA's website that promised people could apply for and receive SNAP benefits without immigration consequences. We will not allow this life-saving program to be illegally used to hunt down immigrants and their families. No one should fear for their safety when they seek food assistance for their families. And this administration cannot intimidate vulnerable families and prevent them from putting food on the table. Today, Attorney General Bonta, Attorney General Dana Nessel, and I are co-leading a coalition of our fellow Democratic attorneys general in suing this administration to protect SNAP and the sensitive personal information of all of its recipients.
Now, Letitia James has the unmitigated gall to tell the Donald Trump administration, we're going to sue you because what you're trying to do is unlawful. You're trying to find out the identities of the people that your program, which is the federal government, is funding, and we're going to sue you for asking for that information. It's absurd, I understand, right? It's almost like you're paying for somebody to do the work and they don't want to do the work, but they're going to sue you for asking you to do the work. Got him! Yeah, that's how asinine Letitia James is. And that's interesting because it seems to me that you would love to hide somebody who's undocumented or beating the system, because you would probably imagine that somebody has a fake social security number, somebody's getting free food, and guess who's paying for that? American citizens. But guess what? Rewind! The other day I happened to be on TikTok, and there's a young lady who made a video about Brooklyn, okay, Bed-Stuy. And Bed-Stuy used to be a very popular destination for Black Americans. But the problem is that a lot of Blacks are leaving New York. Why is that?
What do you think is the biggest issue working class New Yorkers are facing right now?
Definitely the rent. The rent is too high. We need a rent freeze in New York City. People can't afford a place to go. I have to move in the summer and I'm like, there's literally nowhere where I can afford a place to live.
Now, they're leaving New York because they want a rent freeze. Things are getting high. Things are getting expensive. And the educational system may not be doing the best. The city is in a lot of debt. But we have a state attorney who's prioritizing somebody who's not a citizen. Now, let me just say this. I don't mind a person that is paying taxes to get SNAP benefits if they're working. But in this case, clearly, the individual may or may not be working. And you don't even want to find that out. And this really pissed off a lot of American citizens on X. This person goes, Dems will fight harder for illegal aliens than they ever have for working Americans. George says, didn't they say illegals wouldn't get any benefits? What a way to finally admit the truth. Now, how much taxpayer dollars are being wasted on all these lawsuits to help illegals? I didn't even think about that. Again, taxpayers, think about it, their money is already being used to fund SNAP for documented or undocumented immigrants. And then also, you filing a lawsuit is even more taxpayers' money to help those who may be undocumented. It don't make no sense. Because under individuals, they'll fight to the death for illegals, but not for the American people. Now, again, this is an American thing in general. But if you look at Letitia James, you must assume that she's Black American, hashtag FBA, ADOS, Black African American, right? Originally. What about the people in the community that are leaving Bed-Stuy? I mean, there's so many videos about Blacks leaving New York City in California, but the people that are being subsidized are migrants, and they will replace those Black Americans in Harlem. Like, Harlem is still Black, but now it's African Black. Nothing wrong with that, but I can guarantee you that Uganda will never become Black American Black, all right? They would have a problem with us coming over and replacing them. And you have somebody who just doesn't care, and they're gonna get help with SNAP benefits and whatever else. We've seen it, people in Harlem complaining in Queens about housing for migrants and all of this stuff and getting a hand up, while American citizens, no matter what color you are, you're suffering, and it's always Democratic leaders that are doing this. I mean, before Eric Adams got his Negro wake-up call, he was doing it. Brandon Johnson was doing it. You see Karen Bass in LA doing it. And again, all of these people operate on the Black card, and then once they get in the office, this is the playbook that they always run. And it creates so much animosity from the Black community towards Democrats when this is what happens. I can guarantee you Letitia James lives in a very nice neighborhood. She doesn't live by any illegals. She doesn't live by any migrants. I'm pretty sure she lives by top 10% individuals, so it doesn't affect her. But not everybody is Letitia James, okay? Not everybody went to Howard University School of Law. Not everybody is a state attorney, okay? You have people out there that do need the help, and if they're not getting help because migrants are undocumented, people are getting the help, you're not protecting your own citizens, which even makes the state of New York a lower trust environment when it comes to politicians than it already is. And I live in a country where there is a low trust environment. And trust me, it's not a nice thing. It creates so many other barriers that you just can't get your mind around it. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. We're out.